Almost done here. All right, so next we're going to, I'm going to cut this part out actually, and then I'm going to do the engraving of the letters and the chamfering. So I'm going to go back to selecting the tool. I'm going to go back to a 10 millimeter flat. That looks good. And then I'm going to, tool directions are fine, and then I'm going to do the rough finish toolpath to cut this thing out. Auto Z is good. General, I want to make sure the compensation's on 0. This is going to be operation number 3. I could take account for previous machining, but it's not really necessary for this. Levels and cuts, these are fine. Z stock amount. Now, for this, when you're doing the rough or finish profile sort of toolpath, the Z stock amount is how you want to, like, if you want to add or subtract from what, say, your auto Z is, when you have the type of toolpath you're doing for your side is auto Z. It's different if you do vertical, and we'll do that another time. But the Z stock amount would be if I want to go past my material a little bit to cut it, say, free from this aluminum plate, for example. I wouldn't want to leave like a little whisker at the bottom, but I want to completely cut it free. So I might change this to be like an additional minus 0.03, so 300ths, which is a lot, but making sure that the bit goes all the way past it. And then depth of cut defines the depth. The cut to be taken each pass of the tool until it achieves the adjusted final depth. So like this would be like how many times it has to do that in order to, how many steps it does for that final depth. But should be good for that. Machine data. We'll leave that if you want to do like some rough cutting, which means you're kind of sneaking in. It's your final geometry, lead in, lead out. I guess we could do a lead in and lead out. I'm going to do a line, a sloping one, and then we'll do, yeah, I want that toggled on. And then the length could be 8. We'll just change it to 5, and then approach angle, I'll make this 5 also. And if I click this arrow here, it copies it over to the lead out, so it's got lead in, lead out done that way. And then tool data will be correct. I'll click OK, and I will apply that to this geometry here. Z levels must be set in all selected geometries to use geometry Z levels in the 3D menu. So have I not set my Z's for the outside line? Perhaps not. It appears I have not. So I better go back and set that. So 3D set Z's on this line. Top is at 0, bottom is at -18. Okay. Finish. Now I'll go back to machine. Rough finish, auto Z, generals, that's fine, levels and cuts, that's good, and that's good. Okay, applying that to this geometry. Now I did it in one cut. Now that's not correct. I misspoke here. Go back to edit, so I right clicked, too fast, right click on the toolpath I just did, and I can do edit here, or so I can get every single tab, or I could select the tab if I knew which tab I needed to fix. And I'll do just the edit one so that I can change levels. And I want to do depth of cut, so how many times I want to get this bit to, how many bytes basically, and I'll do it in 3 bytes. That's more than I expected, but it's fine. Totally fine. And now let's do the engraving. So to do the chamfering, we need to actually change the location of where the bit is going to cut. So it should be centered on the geometry that's going to be cutting. So I'm going to go back to tool directions and click center for these. And I need to put a chamfer on this line. So we put that back to center. This line, this one. Then close that. I'm going to select the tool, and then in this Alphacam, our tools menu, I'm going to go down to the bottom here. And there should be a user cone 10 millimeter by 45. That would be the best one. And, use that one. Now, these ones change blue because I changed the tool path on the one that I was using. And it looks like my lead in, lead out is also messing with me, so I'm going to probably change that here in a second. So I'll go back and fix that. But now that I got my toolpath figured out, I'll do 3D engraving for the letters, levels and cuts. Just leave this the same. Material top, this is the tricky one, is -3 because we lowered that space down in there a little bit when we actually end up cutting it. And this could be any dimension. -10 is totally fine. And all the other ones will be correct. And I'm going to just box select the letters over there and click finish. I did move through that kind of fast. I want to make sure I go to machining data. These numbers should be smaller for higher resolution, so I'm just going to change that to be one 1,000th of an inch, and I'll just do that as 100th, and I'll get higher tolerances for or a better fidelity on my cutting there. Hopefully it doesn't crash my machine. Looks like we're okay. Let's save just in case. And then to do the chamfering that I was talking about a moment ago, I want to use the rough finish path with that V-bit. And for general, this is fine. Levels and cuts. I'm going to change this Z-stock amount to be 17 because I'm going to add 17 to the -18 for this outside line. And then lead in, lead out. Don't need that. Click OK. And I'll apply that to this line. And soft boundaries, that part is fine. And then I'm going to do that again because I have different numbers that I want to add to those Z's. Or I could just do vertical, which make it easier. And then levels and cuts, I can just do 1.25 for this, 1 for this. Material top will be 0, and final depth can be -1. And then select the lines that need the chamfer, which was this one, this one, this one, this one. Now if I go simulate this, should be pretty good, but this part's over here is going to mess up, which I'll have to fix. I want it to be opaque so we can see what it looks like here. Faster. All right, so this is that lead in, lead out. I got to go back and fix that. So I'll do that in the last video.